tanker, those big refueling jets. There was an incident that occurred over western Iraq. We don't really have any information of what went down. The Trump regime claims that it did not involve friendly fire or hostile fire, although people with sympathies to the Iranian regime claim that they had something to do with it. The United States regime, the Trump regime, claims that it's now doing a search and rescue mission for these 6 service members. But if you know the Strato tanker, it doesn't have parachutes or ejection methods. And if those planes crash, it is a fueling plane. And so there's very difficult for there to be survivors. But we pray and we hope that there is, but there may be something serious there to focus on. And the Trump regime is not providing any clarity. Just so you see how this is all going down in France and how they're viewing the Trump regime. This is on French media earlier today. Let's play this clip.
De Donald Trump qui est en train de danser sur YMCA pendant que le Golfe Persique est flambe. Avec le cours du pétrole d'ailleurs, pour filer la métaphore. Et les gens qui sont là juste derrière lui, c'est ça leur souci. C'est le cours du pétrole.
Now, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps is also saying that it struck the 5th Fleet U.S. headquarters in Bahrain, which appears to be accurate because we see it burning. Iran's Revolutionary Guard said its Navy launched 2 waves of missile and drone strikes earlier today, targeting the headquarters of the U.S. 5th Fleet at the Minas Salman port in Manama, Bahrain, and the IRGC claims the attack hit anti-drone systems, drone storage depots, support equipment, fuel tanks, and areas where U.S. personnel were gathered using kamikaze drones along with cruise and ballistic missiles there. And a new report from CNN this evening is talking about how the Pentagon and National Security Council significantly underestimated Iran's willingness to close the Strait of Hormuz in response to U.S. military strikes while planning the ongoing widespread strike operation against Iran, multiple sources told CNN. Top officials within the Trump regime claim that they never thought the Strait of Hormuz would be closed because they thought it would hurt Iran more than it would hurt the U.S., so that Iran would never do it. But actually, Iran's been able to move its oil out of the strait. Same thing with China, out of the Strait of Hormuz. But all these other ships that have been trying to cross, when Donald Trump said, go, we got your back, cross, be brave, be patriotic, they've been shot. And there's like 12, 13, 14 boats that have already been hit. I mean, it's been a pretty significant number of ships. And just in the past few days, it's been like 5 or 6 ships that have been hit. And that's not even counting what went down off the coast of Iraq, where that U.S. Fuel tanker was hit during a ship-to-ship transfer. While that's going on, though, I mean, the United States and Israel are hitting Tehran pretty hard. Multiple reports right now of powerful explosions in Tehran and elsewhere across Iran, a wave of massive attacks by the U.S. and Israel. Here's how it's being reported in the area. Whatever the F it was that shook Tehran, Karaj, Islam Shah, Shahryar, and surroundings, people describe the blast as M7, M8-like earthquakes, with powerful destruction in the radius. This Mehdi Hassan also points out in Beirut, there's nowhere safe from Israeli bombings there. That's in Lebanon. In an on-the-ground dispatch from Lebanon, displaced residents there describe the toll of Israel's relentless attacks as the Israeli military escalates its assault on the capital and advances in the south. I mean, Israel's been basically blowing up everything in Lebanon right now, and especially the suburban areas in the south, just demolishing all of those buildings right now. With all this taking place, we also learned via CBS there was another U.S. military medevac flight today. It flew from Saudi Arabia to the U.S. base in Germany with about 19 more injured service members. We know there was already 150 that was announced the other day. It's just interesting that this is getting reported by CBS and not by the Trump regime. But the Trump regime is putting out this propaganda. Sean Parnell, who's one of the Pentagon spokespeople, says, we are dominating on every front and executing on our core mission, annihilate the Iranian Navy, destroy Iran's missile capabilities, permanently deny the regime a nuclear weapon. Operation Epic Fury, winning. And then it's a photo of a plane executing our objectives with ruthless precision. Like, you're posting that while we have 6 service members missing from a plane crash involving the KC-135 Stratotankers. You think I think what the American people probably want is truthful updates about where our service members are versus this just juvenile propaganda at this point. Some other notes, Jennifer Jacob. She's been doing a good job reporting. Give her some credit. The U.S. is expanding relief of Russian oil sanctions to soothe oil markets, allowing more countries now to purchase Russian crude already in transit. We removed the sanctions from India. Now we are allowing more nations to buy from Russia. Pretty despicable stuff right there. And that's not lowering the cost of oil. It's just showing panic in the market. And it's causing oil to rise, by the way. But Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says this was all part of the plan. Trust the plan. He knew this was going to happen. He said the Strait of Hormuz, everybody knew would be closed. Listen to what he said. Here, play this clip.
You starting to think, if this does keep persisting as it is, that the Navy has to go into the Strait of Hormuz to help ships get through, which would have a big effect on
look, that was always in our planning, that there's the chance that U.S. Navy or perhaps an international coalition will be escorting oil tankers through. There are, in fact, tankers coming through now, Iranian tankers, I believe some Chinese flag tankers have come through. So we know that they have not mined the straits.
And was that what you were just discussing in the Situation Room?
We were discussing a plethora of things.
And is it your belief that the volume of ships going through the Strait of Hormuz will be improving immediately from now?
It is my belief that as soon as it is militarily possible, the U.S. Navy, perhaps with an international coalition, will be escorting vessels through.
The guy lies about everything. Also in that same interview, Bessent said absolutely not when asked by Sky News on Thursday whether there was any price at all that could cause him to confront Trump and say the Iran war was no longer affordable. He said there is never any price, no matter what it is. He will never tell Donald Trump no. But here's what Donald Trump's doing. Offering national security briefings to small dollar donors, using a photo from his recent excursion to Dover, the dignified transfer. He's using the dignified transfer photo, wearing the white cap, which he sells, and he says, very few spots remaining. Claim your spot. These final spots are reserved for my strongest supporters. You are one of them. This is no ordinary membership. And he says he'll give you secret security briefings. And the photo used is the dignified transfer photo of him as our dead soldiers lost their lives in this war, returned. And he's wearing the hat, and now he's fundraising off of this, telling his donors, lying to them that they'll get secret security briefings. He's not even giving the American people briefings. But Melania Trump was there in the White House today, and she called herself a visionary. She's a visionary. As a visionary. Here's what she said. Play this clip.
As a visionary, I know success is not born overnight, but rather takes shape after a long and sometimes challenging process. Often alone at the top, I follow my passion, listen to my instinct, and always maintain a laser focus. In solitude, my creative mind dances, filling my imagination with originality. Attention to detail, demanding schedules, and multitasking are everyday realities when building towards success. The principle resonates across all my roles as a mother, humanitarian, philanthropist, and entrepreneur. As well as with my new film, where I shaped its creative direction, served as a producer, managed post-production, and activated the marketing campaign.